Hey everybody, welcome to this 32-team franchise update. Here are some recaps of the Week 16 matchups. So we have the Seahawks taking on the St. Louis Rams. They're moving into that LA time. I think it was the next season when they officially became LA. But anyways, Rams fall short, fall to 8-7, and the Seattle Seahawks ascend to double-digit wins. Then we got the Chargers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And it was the San Diego Chargers who found a way to win this one out with 34-31, a field goal difference. That's Jerick McKinnon, the backup running back, who is also very powerful as a running back, getting a big touchdown on that play. And next up, we've got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the New York Giants. Both teams, the Giants are slightly behind for their division, and the Vikings are tied for their division. But it was the New York Giants who found a way to come away with this one. So a beautiful touchdown pass there by Eli Manning in his first season with the New York Giants, near the end of his career. So there you have some highlights. I wish there were a few more, but now we'll get to some other updates. So here we are now with the weekly recap. You saw some highlights earlier. We got the Chargers beating the Cowboys. We've got the Raiders crushing the Texans, which was a big win for Matt Ryan, who actually put his team into the playoff picture with that win. I mean, they still have to last these last 2 weeks, but the Texans are the number 3 seed, and they've already clinched the playoffs. Then you've got the Seattle Seahawks defeating the Rams. We've got Cleveland Browns crushing the Bills. And this was a huge victory for Terrell Pryor, Mike Pettin, and the Browns, as this gives them the lead in the division. Now, Cleveland plays Pittsburgh this week, and that's going to be a huge game because if Pittsburgh wins, they go back on top of the division. If they lose, they basically lose the division. So Pittsburgh has to win, and then either both Cleveland and Pittsburgh have to lose the last week, or if Pittsburgh can win out, they can probably be in the playoffs. Then it was a 2-point conversion fail that basically made the Bengals lose to the Dolphins, so they go 4-11 as opposed to 13-2. We got the Giants narrowly defeating the Vikings. You saw, I think, a highlight on that. Patriots. This was a Manning versus Brady Bowl, and Ravens are now a nice 6-9 record, while the Patriots are at 9-6 after scoring 62 points. Just absolutely brutal. Tom Brady was a player of the week, I believe, with 6 passing touchdowns, 356 yards, making it look effortless. Then you got the Buccaneers narrowly defeating the Panthers. I think it was a field goal that gave them the victory there. Then you got the Detroit Lions defeating the Steelers, and that was a big loss for Pittsburgh. As we mentioned, Cleveland won, Pittsburgh lost. So if Pittsburgh had won, they would have stayed on top of the division, but that loss gets them 1 game behind the Browns. Then you got the Bears and Packers in a really rainy matchup, so it was a low-scoring game. 10-6, Packers and the Vikings both trying to clinch this NFC North, and neither one can do it. They keep finding ways to fail to create a gap between each other's teams. Bears, nice 6-9 record. Then you've got the New York Jets, 21-18. Alex Smith defeats Drew Brees. 49ers beat the Colts. That was a smooth victory for the 49ers. Nothing too special in that game. Washington Commanders crushed the Eagles. Not the game that McNabb had hoped for. At 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. We had a touchdown there by McNabb rushing it in. But good running game, 85 yards, 28 for Kaepernick, 28 for Yeldon, 1-1. It was Bryce Brown, I believe. Did they have a strong special teams performance? Okay, one of these games, maybe it was a defensive touchdown. No, it wasn't. Okay. It was, I think, in the Dolphins game. I think they had 2 kick return touchdowns by, Joe McKnight. So if you don't remember Joe McKnight, he's been quite the returner this season. 2 touchdowns in that game to help them defeat the Bengals. And then you got the Chiefs, 29 over 10 for the Titans. Hundley, is it Brett Hundley? I'm trying to remember his first name. Yep, it is Brett Hundley. Has failed to win a single game since he started 3 weeks ago. So I think he's like 0-3 right now. Chiefs go up and they win. So they're 9-6. That helps them in the playoff picture. You've got the Jaguars winning by 4 points against the Broncos. That was a well-fought game for 2 teams that suck. And then you have the Falcons over the Cardinals. Another game where the 2 teams suck. I don't know if there's any news here you want to take a look at. But top performers. Of course, Tom Brady, no question there. Tim Hightower with the Browns had 160 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns in that huge victory for them. Darrell Washington had 2 interceptions. Pryor had 137 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, and only threw for 49 yards, 30% completion. So Pryor has not been doing well throwing the ball that game, but he sure ran down their throats. Then you've got Matt Ryan with 302 yards and 4 tutties. You have Amari Cooper, 170 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. Nate Allen, 2 picks and a tackle. So some rookie debut or performances. You got Gurley, some nice yards there, 2 touchdown performance. Cooper's a rookie. Winston did pretty well, 3 touchdowns, not a lot of yards there, but he didn't need them because they handily beat the Colts. And you got Peters, pretty solid rookie performance for Marcus Peters there in Jacksonville. Kevin White, I don't know why that's a surprise, but okay. He 82 overall with 57 yards, ain't too impressive. It was a rookie performance, I guess. Surprises, we got Lance Kendricks, tight end for the Falcons, getting 2 touchdowns from Jimmy Garoppolo. Evans, Hightower, Woods, Bryce Brown. We mentioned that he had a good game against Philly. I think he had a big long run, which really saved him. It gave him a good game. Disappointment, Spiller. Newton had only 137 yards and 3 interceptions, so those turnovers were pretty bad for Newton. Calvin Johnson Jr. only caught the ball once, and he was a leading receiver, so that's not great for his standings as the league receiver, leading receiving yards. And then Jay Cutler filled in a little bit for an injured Mariota, and he threw 3 picks, so that wasn't great. Here we go with some injury updates. Transactions, I did some signings, I believe, contract extensions. Only a few teams I just kind of went through just to make sure I got a few. But let's go look at the standings now. Now that we have some shakeups, we got the Dolphins clinching the playoffs, 13-2. They look to be the number 1 team, but they're still trying to get distance between them and the Chargers. We will see if they've clinched number 1, and then they might just let Tim Tebow start the last game and play the backups. Brady is in the top wild card seed with the Patriots. Bills and Jets, 8-7. So there's a handful of teams that are at the cusp of a playoff berth. We got Pittsburgh trying to get in there. We got the Chiefs and the Raiders, a lot of 8-7 teams. And the Bills in that rookie season with Mariota looking pretty good. Cleveland and Pittsburgh trying to win the division. They got 4 losses for Pittsburgh. So Cleveland's going to try to make it 5 and then clinch the division. However, if the Steelers win, they have a chance to win the division. Ravens and Bengals, they're out. I don't think there's any chance they have. Ravens probably should just go with someone other than Manning, but Manning's their guy, and it might be his last season, so I'm going to keep getting yards for him. The Texans clearly won their division. They clinched that a while ago, it seemed. Jaguars 6-9. They don't have really a shot. They have no shot at the playoffs. I guess they'd have to win 2 games, just like the Ravens would have to win 2 games to go 8-9, and then everyone else has to lose out, which I don't think is going to happen. Titans likely. I don't know if they clinched that. Oh, they might have clinched the first pick in the draft. They are between them and the Colts. I guess the Colts could potentially lose, but 7 straight losses for Tennessee, not great. Chargers 12-3, Chiefs 9-6, and Raiders 8-7. Denver 6-9 in a division where 3 teams are likely making the playoffs. Now the Giants winning and the Cowboys losing. That is a tight division there. Even the Commanders, just 1 game behind each team. They're trying to vie for a playoff spot or a division title. Then they can do it. It depends on if the Giants and Cowboys putter out these last 2 weeks. Eagles, no chance. They're going to be probably in a mini rebuild. I don't know if they were in the Super Bowl last year, or 2 years ago, I believe. Andy Reid, I think, should probably be given a chance to see Teddy Bridgewater through as a new starting quarterback. But McNabb either will retire this year or maybe he needs to go somewhere else, and the Eagles need to move on. And then the NFC North is the exact same. You've got the Vikings, Packers at 8-7, just like the East. The Lions 7-8 with a 2-game win streak. Bears, they'd have to win out, and then all these other teams have to lose out, so that's very unlikely. But likely Vikings or Packers, but they still have 2 games to play, and they're all within 2 games from each other, technically. Buccaneers have clinched their division, 9-6. Nothing the Falcons, Saints, or Panthers can do. And it doesn't look like they have much of a shot at a wild card seed either. They have to really win out in a lucky fashion. Seattle, they're the number 1 team in the NFC with a double-digit wins. Niners are up behind them, trying to win the division. You got the Rams right behind the Niners. So these three teams all trying to vie for those playoff spots. And then the Cardinals, they're out of it, of course. We look at the bottom teams in the league. Titans, Colts, Bengals are 3 and 4 wins. You got 2-5 wins with the Eagles and Cardinals. And Eagles, they could have a unique, let's see, the big board. You know, I don't know if they're going to go quarterback because they've got Teddy Bridgewater. But the Eagles could be landing someone like Jalen Ramsey, Joey Bosa, DeForest Buckner. Yeah, they could even go Ezekiel Elliott. That would be an interesting decision. Because if we look at the Eagles roster here. Oh, there we go. Depth chart. They could use a tight end, but probably not going to do that. They do have Marcus McNeil, and I think Marcus McNeil, how old is he now? He's 31, so they really could consider the Tunsil. On the defense, yeah, they got old, and McNabb carries so much cap with him that, let's see, how much is McNabb? Where is it? Ted Ginn, McNabb. Oh, he's only 11 million. He's 29 million total, I think. Yeah, because he's on like the last year of his big contract, so 29 million coming off the cap. Then you also have Marcus McNeil coming off the cap, and he might be gone. You got Jackson and Ginn, so they're gonna get some cap space back too, depending on how these re-signings go. But Eagles picking that high, I mean they're right there at the 4th pick, and we look at that the big board. Tunsil, Bosa, Ramsey. They're going to have a pretty good opportunity here to change that team. Now, we look at passing yards. We got Brady, Manning, Dalton, Rodgers. Sorry, I go to the other thing. Oh, player stats. There you go. You can see more of them. Your top 5, Rodgers and Roethlisberger. Everyone's had their bye week. Touchdowns is Newton, Brady, Carr, Rodgers, Smith. The interception leaders, we had Carr still leading the league with 27. You got Flacco, McNabb, McCoy, Bortles. Rushing, we got Johnson still leading the league. Hasn't had a touchdown in a few games. Rushing, he's been at 20 for a while. But best, McFadden, Richardson, Spiller. We got touchdowns. Doug Martin is catching up with Chris Johnson. Then you got Jonathan Stewart, McFadden, and Richardson. Receiving, Mike Wallace, Olsen, Hardy, Gordon, and even though Calvin Johnson had only 10 yards last week, he's still top 5. We have a few more like Stephon Diggs, the rookie. Even Odell Beckham as a rookie is doing great. Drop leaders is Meacham, Safarian Jenkins. They're just doing awful in Baltimore. We look at, what was it, touchdowns I wanted to go to. Johnson leads the way. Wallace, Diggs, Landry, and Beckham. So tackles, I won't stay too long here. Sacks, Von Miller has 16 solo tackles. I mean, he had 2 more weeks. I don't think he's getting anywhere close to that record. Irving, Everett Brown, Mingo, and rookie Dante Fowler is up there. And also we see like Olivier Vernon and Timmons. Interceptions, we got Clinton Dix, Barry, and Quinn. We got and then a handful here for 5 interceptions. So there you have it, the update for our 32-team franchise. We are heading into week 17, 2 more weeks before we finish up the year. So if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. More 32-team franchise coming your way. When I do get to the playoffs, I will actually share some game footage from the wild card, divisional, AFC Championship. I normally share the entire Super Bowl play-by-play with commentary. So hopefully you're looking forward to that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.